This is a UTV 44 Sports production. The UTV 44 High School Football Game of the Week, presented by Subway.
A matchup tonight in Region 1 here on UTV 44. Our Game of the Week brought to you by Subway. And tonight we're on the hill in Spanish Fort as the Spanish Fort Toros at 5-2 and 3-1 in region play welcome in the Vigor Wolves, who are 5-2 and 3-1 in region play. Good evening. I'm Jim Cox, my partner Dan Brennan. Dan, let's talk about tonight's matchup here as you look at this Vigor team. We got to see him a couple of weeks ago against St. Paul's in a great game here on UTV 44. We'd heard so much about the defense. Boy, they live up to the billing and then some.
They really do. Let's start with another one of the defensive ends. We talked about Filan last time we were on with Vigor pregame. Let's go with Jamichael Winston. He's the other defensive end. He's about 6'5". He's pumped his way up to 240. Quick off the edge, nasty disposition, great player. Just did commit to Arkansas. So on that defensive line, your two ends, one going to Bama, one going to Arkansas. They have SEC talent, and that's just the beginning.
Yeah, the Vigor only allows 8 points a game. They force 20 turnovers. They're all over the football. Now, Spanish Fort, they can score some points. They've always been good offensively here on the hill. They average 27 points a game coming in, but those points kind of seem to run through one player, and that's Deion Johnson.
Deion Johnson has got as much speed tonight on the field as you could find Vigor or Spanish Fort. He's that fast. They try to get him the ball in any way possible. It worked against Mary G, where he had 4 touchdowns. It worked against Faith Academy, where he had 3. This team tonight, Vigor, doesn't play defense or doesn't resemble those two teams defensively. So can Johnson's speed at least make a play or two? That could be the difference in this game.
Vigor's 2 losses have combined 3 points on the year. We're expecting a good one. The kickoff comes up next from the hill here on our UTV 44 Game of the Week, brought to you by Subway. Great shot of the hill here in Spanish Fort tonight as we're ready to get this 5A matchup underway. Vigor will receive as the Toros ready to kick off in what should be a very exciting game in our UTV 44 Game of the Week, brought to you by Subway. Alexander Theodore to kick for the Toros, and Sherman Fritz and Devontae Nesby back deep for the Wolves. Alexander will go with the pooch kick. Comes down to the 20 and the 30-yard line. That's where Vigor will start. Aaron Moore, the return man for the Wolves.
I got news for you. That kick is the last thing that's not going to get hit hard tonight.
Vigor,
after that,
they do bring a potent punch. Let's take a look at that starting lineup and change things up at quarterback. We'll see Marlon Moore there. We'll also see the sophomore Devin Adams come in. He throws it a little bit more. Fritz, the wide receiver, but D'Angelo Miller, the running back, had 149 yards last week on 15 carries in the win over Faith Academy. And we will see Adams, the sophomore, at quarterback. Paul Kyles, the big tight end, in motion. Trouble on the snap. They give it off and hit in the backfield immediately is Miller, as the snap was bad, and that threw that play off from the get-go.
Vigor just has got to avoid that. They can't shoot themselves in the foot and give away 5 yards.
Spanish Fort defense led by DeMarco Montgomery. He is a playmaker, outside linebacker. Also, you got Connor McGavin, who was on our pregame show. He is a safety back there who can make some plays, and Will Martin and Walton up front. Smith and Hall and Murray, the other linebackers. Watch McCants as well. He gets around the football in the secondary. Devin Adams, 6'3", sophomore. Gives it off to Miller, and Miller gets back to about the original line of scrimmage. Going to bring up 3rd and 10. As strong as Vigor's defensively, they do have some struggles on offense.
Yeah, they do, and Adams is the guy that they like to let loose and throw it. There's a guy right there, Miller, by the way, certainly has the admiration of his coach, Kerry Stevenson, who says he is as tough a kid physically and mentally as I've ever coached.
Wow.
He's coached a lot of tough kids.
Sure has. 3rd and 9. Motion goes Kyles. They do like to go to him. They'll hand it off Miller, trying to get around the left edge, and he's tripped up around the 35-yard line. It'll bring on a punt situation, so a good start for the Spanish Fort Toros defensively.
Started with the fumble snap on first down, too, put him in the hole, and watch what they use Kyles for here as a lead blocker. And he does clear some things out, but he can't block everybody.
Ronald Smith, the sophomore linebacker there. Deion Johnson, who Dan talked about in the pregame show, is back to return punts. Marlon Moore will punt it from the 20 for the Wolves. And Johnson just gets away from that one. And good field position for Spanish Fort to start this one at the 37-yard line. Spanish Fort coached by Mark Freeman, his first year here at Spanish Fort. So we look at the Toros starting lineups brought to you by Greer's. You see Johnson there that Dan mentioned him. And quarterback Joel Poe, Otis Smith in the backfield. And they got some big fellas up front as well. They'll have their work cut out for them tonight. Walker Betts, Greg Curtis, Hall, Horst, and Gates up front. It's going to be a challenge with this big line that Vigor has. There's Kerry Stevenson, the head coach of the 7th-ranked Vigor Wolves in his 9th season at Vigor.
In fact, they've lost 2 games and are still ranked 5th. That means the voters know what they're doing because this is one of the best 5A teams in the
snap
state.
Here, and Poe will have to go all the way back inside the 20 to corral that. Yeah, and Vigor's 2 losses this year. They lost 14-13 to Davidson, and they lost 10-8 to St. Paul's.
Right, combined 3 points if you're not good at math.
Yes, which there's 2 of us talking right now that aren't. Filan and Winston, those are the defensive ends. Filan's going to Alabama. Winston, as Dan said, is going, as of this week, to Arkansas. Taylor, a great linebacker, had a great game on TV here as well when we saw the Spanish Fort. We saw the St. Paul's game. Inside Gibbs straight up the middle, and this is Otis Smith. And Smith up to the 38-yard line to the 39. So on first and forever, they're able to get it up near the 40-yard line. And let's watch Otis Smith here. Smith, a senior. Got a lot of touches last year on the state championship team as well. And let's welcome in Pat Greenwood down the sideline. Good evening, Patrick.
Good evening, guys. You know, it is something we've seen on both sides of the ball so far, both teams. Defense. Both of these defenses are very, very good. I think tonight it's going to be a matter of whose offense can make something happen. You saw that big run by Spanish Fort. But if they take care of the football, whoever's offense maybe can break through first. That's key. But you see that big defensive stand there by Vigor. Both of these defenses extremely, extremely good.
Yeah, nothing going there. DeMarcus Hives, the nose guard for Vigor, bottled that one up.
Yeah, and I think it says something, the fact that they ran it on a 3rd and medium to long. And they're going to punt here because this is a quick pass offense where the quarterback's got to make decisions very quickly. And it doesn't match up well with Vigor where they get to you very quickly. If there's any hesitation at all, you're in trouble.
Sherman Fritz will stand back at about the 25. Alexander with an end-over-end kick, and Fritz takes it at the 22. Fritz tries to get to the outside, and he's brought down at the 25. Good special teams coverage by the Toros there as we get 3 and outs each way. There's the region. St. Paul's, unless something goes haywire, going to be your region champion in 5A, Region 1. Vigor at 3-1, Spanish Fort at 3-1. So you can see they're jockeying for that home game in the first round of the playoffs.
Yeah, that's
put things up.
The St. Paul's Vigor game. You see how important it was a couple of weeks ago. That's basically why St. Paul's is in the driver's seat.
But then you look at the rest of that region. This region has traditionally been so strong top to bottom, and then you got everybody else 1 and 3. They give it to the fullback. Reverters Barron picks up a couple. Barron, just a sophomore, 6 foot 215.
They can just get anything going offensively. If Vigor can get a lead on you in a game like this, they're trouble. It's going to start to dictate what you're doing offensively.
Pickup of 2 for Barron, and they'll stay with Evans, with Devin Adams, the sophomore quarterback. Kyle's in motion. Give it back off, and Miller hit and bottled up at the line of scrimmage. 17 points a game. That's what this Spanish Fort defense is giving up, and some of those numbers are a little bit skewed because of the fact that they had some suspensions that hurt them on that side of the ball.
I'll tell you what, they stood the Vigor offensive line right up, let their linebackers make some plays, and great job by the defensive line of Spanish Fort.
Roderick Flowers there on the left of your screen. He's just a sophomore, 6 foot, 300 pounds, number 70. And we'll see if Vigor puts the ball in the air here, 3rd and 5 in the first quarter that's just flying by. And keeping on the ground, Miller's going to be stopped short of the first down again.
This was Georgia Auburn 1981. You know, it's like, don't you dare throw it.
Play the field position game.
Yep.
There's a good look at Mark Freeman, his first year, as we said, here in Spanish Fort, but his 13th year overall. 119-32 as a head coach between Bessemer Academy, Gulf Shores, and here. Marlon Moore, low line drive kick, and that one will go out of bounds around the 30. Change things around. We should let you know that it sounds a little less crowded here tonight. It's just Dan and I, Vic Lockett, serving that 1-game suspension.
Now, wait a minute.
He's not? That's... No?
Absolutely untrue.
Okay. All right, so we'll take a timeout here. We're halfway through the opening quarter. Spanish Fort and Vigor scoreless on UTV 44. Our game of the week brought to you by Subway. 5:45 to go in the opening quarter. Pat Greenwood on the sidelines. Jim Cox, Dan Brennan in the booth. Vic Lockett not here tonight.
Come on now.
Not suspended.
No, Vic is the best guy in the world, and actually had some business concerns that have got him on the road. And he's got to provide.
Yeah, first time he's ever been absent. But we'll have Vic back next week, and I know he hated missing this game, and he'll
really did.
Watching the replay come up on Saturday night, I'm sure, when he gets back in town. Some would think he'd be watching the Alabama game, but no. He'll be watching the replay. Let's listen in. Offside against Vigor. So a 1st and 5. Joel Poe, the junior quarterback for the Toros. Hard count again. And Poe to Ed Autry this time, and he is wrapped up and slung down. There's Christopher Taylor, linebacker, as we said, had such a great game against St. Paul's.
You know, all the hullabaloo about Winston and Phylon, and Taylor was unreal against St. Paul's. He not only makes tackles, too, he makes tackles that you remember.
Yep, 3 fumble recoveries on the year. That's his 54th tackle of the season. And so they give up 3. Now they throw over the middle, able to get that one off and complete as Blaine Crane has the first reception of tonight's game and a first down out to the 46-yard line. Don't forget you can email us. Don't email us, where's Vic? We've already covered that. But you can email us anything else.
Well, we covered it twice.
Hey, guys, at utv44.com, or you can also go to the website, email us from there. That brought to you by our friends at Davison Fuels and Oil. Talked to Mark Freeman in the pregame show about being patient, slowing the pace of the game down a little bit here, and that's what they're doing. Oh, looks like he wants to set up the screen, and that was a great play by Otis Smith. He was falling down, and he just batted that ball away because otherwise it was going to be a huge loss. That is a very heady play by the senior Otis Smith.
Yeah, and just in case someone is coming up to make an interception too, but Smith loses his footing. I think he kind of trips over his own guy there. And again, that's it. You know, you got that train wreck coming at you right there with the Vigor defense. Everybody's moving a little scattered.
2nd and 10. Give it back off to Smith, and he is hit and wrapped up again. It's DeMarcus Hives in there. Also had some help from Thomas Lewis.
You know, I don't know if you're going to run the ball, what else you can really do against Vigor, because maybe the best idea, and we talked to coaches about this, spread them out. Yep. Okay, spread them out, and that way you've got those 2 defensive ends who've got containment issues on the outside, and see if you can sneak something through the middle. They got one big run by Smith that way. Trying to go the corners, not easy.
3rd and 10. Poe with time fires over the middle, and that one's incomplete. That was a little high, trying to go to Crane again. And it'll bring up the punt team coming back out as this one. Poe had good protection here.
He did, and Winston was fighting to try to get through a one-on-one block. Good job by Spanish Fort. Crane, the son of Kurt Crane, the inside linebackers coach at the University of South Alabama.
Yep. And Theodore on to punt. Now it's going to be, looked like he was thinking fake, but instead sends this one back, and Fritz has trouble with it, but he falls on it at the 25, and this game has just been played between the 30s, the 20s and 30s so far here tonight. Other games going on. How about Daphne continuing to roll on? 23 in a row, unbeaten. We'll see him next week here on UTV 44. Baldwin County and Satsuma last night as well. Bryant and Davidson tonight. Baker and Mary G. Blunt and Theodore. That should be a good one. Theodore battling for a playoff spot. Blunt trying to stay perfect. Murphy, Citronell, Foley, and Williamson. And McGill, Tulin, and Robertsdale tonight.
Got some thoughts on that McGill-Daphne matchup next week we'll get to.
Inside handoff and good penetration by the Toros. That was Will Martin coming up with the stop of the games. LaFleur and Faith Academy, Gulf Shores, and St. Paul's tonight. BC Reign, Sarah-Lana, Escambia County, Jackson, UMS Wright, taking on Monroe County, WS Neal, and Thomasville. Thomasville trying to match Daphne's winning streak at 23 in a row. Excel in Clark County, Washington County, and Montgomery Academy. Cottage Hill hosting JU Blackshear. Mobile Christian at South Choctaw tonight. Milry, Flomanton, Choctaw County, and Leroy, and Linden, and St. Luke's. Pickup of 2, 2nd and 8. Here we'll come back to that Daphne McGill game in the second down. Adams gives off. Miller's got a bit of a hole, and he'll get out to the 30 to the 31-yard line.
You know, got Daphne, of course, looks virtually unbeatable.
Wow.
You know, last night on regional TV and against a very good opponent in Fairhope. I think McGill is right where Bart Sessions wants him to be. Probably undefeated going in that game, but really, has anybody given them a chance? You don't think that will be talked about and used? Now, how much they can use that to their advantage is one thing, but brother, they're going to use it.
3rd and 5 for the Vigor Wolves. Adams fires it out, flag before this one goes, so that's going to back up Vigor and make it 3rd and 10 here.
Red ball, illegal procedure, offense.
Bobby Howell, our referee here tonight.
Tigers got to clean it up offensively.
Yeah, those.
Not give those yards away. They're too precious to get.
Absolutely.
It was with Adams in the passing game that they made their comeback against St. Paul's the last time we had them on.
Yep, really changed the offense around.
Yep. Threw some good balls. Kid's got a good arm.
Miller there in the backfield. Sherman Fritz to the bottom of the screen. Motion by Kyles, who's played on the line and at tight end. They come this side to Fritz. That one's nearly intercepted. And Vigor's, they're going to say that was a catch. That was... See, Spanish Fort was saying incomplete, but Vigor said that was the catch as Jonathan Cook was back there, and they go to Fritz. And we'll look.
He caught it.
First down, Vigor Wolves.
He caught it.
Bania Kai on the sidelines giving us a great look again.
Long.
I need to. We had some change up. Kevin Sibley on the sideline giving us that great look.
Good look down there. Nice break on the ball by Spanish Fort, but first down for Vigor.
First down of the game, I believe. This one floated up for Kyles, and he's able to grab a hold of it. Boy, Kyles, 6'4", 245. And he's able to go up and corral that one.
He's going to fit in nicely with the way they use the tight end at South Alabama. Often in a 2 tight end set, actually, so he's going to get on the field pretty quickly.
Yep, soft hands. There to go up and corral. Yeah, he's played guard, he's played tackle, everywhere on the line, moved him out to the tight end position.
Defense.
Yep.
You know, body like that, a big athlete like that, you imagine high school ball.
Keontae McCants.
They experimented with him.
Checks in as a receiver. Again, Miller up the left side. Miller's got a hole. Miller at the 40, and he'll be brought down inside the 30, but another Vigor first down, and they've got a drive going here with less than a minute to go in the opening quarter.
Well, they blitzed, and every now and then, right, you take a shot, and, you know, good or bad is going to come from it. Nothing in the middle. That's what happens right here. See the blitz off the corner, Jim?
Yep.
Nobody's home, and once Miller breaks containment,
let's go down to Pat Greenwood. Pat.
Well, you know, the reason that running game's starting to work is just that little toss to Kyles was able to soften up that defensive line just a little bit. Now they got to play pass and run, and to get that run, that hole, all of a sudden, Vigor's moving.
Miller trying to get to the outside, and he'll be wrestled down there. Chris Morehouse, the junior, comes over the tackle after a gain of a couple for Miller.
Good job by Morehouse, who was engaged and fought off a block to make the stop. And Vigor offensive line, you know, they struggle a little bit.
We'll see if Vigor decides to see if they want to run a play here. They will run what it appears before the quarter comes to an end with just 10 seconds left. Adams will look to throw, and that ball is loose. That's a fumble. That is a fumble, and it goes out of bounds. That was a lateral, and so that was a free ball. And that will close out the quarter. And boy, that's some miscommunication there. Watch here as Adams just slipped out of his hand. And it rolls out. And Vigor will keep it. And we'll have the start of quarter number 2 coming up. Scoreless through 1 here on our UTV 44 Game of the Week, brought to you by Subway. Third down here for the Vigor Wolves. 3rd and 13 after that lateral rolled out of bounds. Adams out of the backfield to Miller. Miller trying to get to the outside, cuts it back on the inside, and he'll be wrestled down inside the 25 as Chris Morehouse just hopped on his back, and Miller collided with his own lineman there, slowed down his progress.
Yeah, and it was a nicely designed play, Jim, because they took Kyles and moved him in motion to the right, ran him out into the flat. You think everything's going in that direction. They had one guy going vertical down there, and Kyles in the flat. You're thinking they're going right. Throw it back to Miller. Looked like he had some room.
Yep, especially when he cut it back to the inside of the field. And they'll line up Devontae Nesby to the right side, and Vigor will go for it here on 4th and 9 from the 25. I think at 4th and 5. They'll give it off Miller on the right side. Dances toward the sticks, and he's going to have the first down.
Kind of ran a stretch play, and they stretched it out and blocked some people on the edge. Watch right here.
Oh, that was a hold. That's what you heard the Spanish Fort coaches screaming for the hold, and then Vigor did get away with one there at the bottom of the screen. The old handful of jersey. But it's good for a Vigor first down.
Yeah, usually if it's on the edge, they catch it too. Big first down for the Wolves in a game where first down's been hard to come by.
Absolutely. Brandon Moore, we saw him check into the backfield. He'll check back out. They'll bring Barron back at the fullback. Give it off Miller. Up to about the 15.
Draw play there. Miller runs hard. Give him that much.
5'9", 175. As we said, 149 yards last week in their win over Faith Academy, 57-13. Vigor won that game. Vigor's got LaFleur next week, and then huge battle in week 10. A fun one.
Yeah.
Blunt and Vigor, and both teams with spectacular football teams this season. Play action. Evans throws it over the middle, and that one's knocked down. Job in the secondary. Jonathan Cook able to bop that one away.
Evans getting pressure. You could tell he was looking for Cook all the way, and his second pump, he had pressure at his feet. He didn't have his feet set and almost threw a pick right there.
Yeah, was trying to get it to McCants. And it looked like he had to hold that a little longer than he wanted to. Wanted to get rid of it. And now 3rd and 7. 1 for 3 on 3rd downs for Vigor.
It would be 2-down territory, Jimmy. With that in mind, a draw play, something where you keep it on the ground. Let's watch.
Adams gives it off to Miller. Got a great block and goes to the outside, and Miller's going to have another first down here for the Vigor Wolves. Wow, great lead block out there on the right side.
Wow, I mean to tell you, if Barron doesn't make that block, there's really nothing there. I believe that's who it is. Roberta's Barron, fullback. Check it out, right there. That's the sophomore fullback. You know, Miller gets credit for the yards, but really, it's Barron's block that makes it all happen.
Fourth first down on this drive for the Vigor Wolves.
And again, I say, Vigor gets on top of you, that's when you really have some problems. You have to figure out how patient you want to be offensively.
Trouble with the snap, and Adams will just fall forward. Well, it's the second time we've seen trouble with the center quarterback exchange for the Vigor Wolves.
Yeah, first time, I think it was the very first snap.
Yep.
Lost about 4 yards. And again, this is what Vigor can't afford to do. You know what their defense is going to do, but this offense has got to give them some points, some life in a big game like this. They had trouble all night long against St. Paul's, minus the passing game near the end by Adams, who's in there right now.
Adams gives it off to Barron, big fullback, and he bowls ahead down to about the 2. Throwing the fullback bone there down close to the goal line.
Sure, but not just being nice to him, hoping that this is going to spring something. Good blocking up front, too. That's the first time he carries it, so I'm sure there's an element of surprise right there. And if you were to look up, I guess, 2-down territory right here, this is it. They're going to
third and goal.
They're going to make it on third. They'll go for it on fourth.
Try the quarterback sneak and about a yard. And it'll bring up fourth and goal from the 1. Big frame of Adams at 6'3". They thought maybe he could just lunge ahead. Got a good surge.
Yeah, we also got some linebackers going low for Spanish Fort.
So fourth and goal. Pat Greenwood.
I'll tell you what, guys, looking where the football is and the goal line, you don't even have half a football that they need to advance it. So this could be a pretty tough test for both sides of the football.
You know what? They're going to need to hurry. Play clock is inside of 5, and I'm not sure they're aware of it. Adams gets it off, gives it to Miller, and he's upended and stops short of the goal line. What a stand by Spanish Fort.
All at the line of scrimmage, too.
Wow, the big defensive stop. Let's watch.
Just crash in there, and it's just, again, one of those all-hands-on-deck situations for Spanish Fort.
Justin Murray.
Murray makes the big play at linebacker. Got him listed at 59. Was it Jeremy Murray?
Yeah, it was Jeremy Murray, actually. Not Justin Murray. It was Jeremy Murray who made the stop.
Now, the good news for Spanish Fort is they get the stop. The bad news is look where they are.
Yeah, now they're going to have to hurry because now, of course, they're not going to lose any yardage.
Or are
just
they?
Push it ahead. I mean, if they got the penalty. Pat Greenwood?
Well, they're not going to get the safety there because of the forward progress. But if you remember, guys, a couple of weeks ago, St. Paul's was in this similar territory. Vigor was able to come away with a safety. So they know what to do in this type of situation.
Yeah, sick 'em.
And boy,
if he's going to throw, he's got minimum protection because, you know, they're all spread out wide and everything like that.
Yeah, Adams making Johnson to the bottom of your screen. Wants to throw. Pump fake. Now he's going to pull it down and run, and then fires one off, and he's able to get it complete on the far side. That's going to be good for a Toro first down, and we'll have some breathing room out across the 20. And a great play by Poe.
There's a heady play by Poe. Now, the yard line, they're at the 1, and where was he when he released the football, would be Mike?
Yeah, it was close because he scrambled. It looked like he was definitely going to take off.
Good enough athlete to... There you go. Watch him.
Oh, he's still in the end zone? Yep.
Yeah, good play by Poe. Critical play, field position-wise.
Woo, breathing room. Give out across the 25 to about the 26-yard line is Otis Smith with another carry. How about the pace of this game? We're at 6.5 to go in the second quarter already.
Everybody's keeping it on the ground. This is a throwing team. That's the thing. But you just had the idea. That's not a good matchup for Spanish Fort necessarily, because these Vigor defensive linemen can really pin their ears back and come at Poe.
Poe is going to have to pull it down again. And that's exactly what Dan was talking about, and that's JaMychal Winston who is in there. That was discombobulated from the start.
Well, that was Phylon too. It was both of them. So here you have a couple of futures. Well, there's Phylon right there, and one of the stars of the SEC coming to Alabama.
Pat Greenwood.
But I tell you what, if he doesn't pull it down, Darius Johnson has a touchdown the other way. That was a great play by the quarterback for Spanish Fort, because that quarterback for Vigor snuck in at the last minute. He would have been gone had that ball been thrown in the air.
3rd and 7. Poe from the backside tries to get that one away, and they're going to say incomplete. Wow. And again, it's Darius Phylon coming from the right side. And Poe, big shot from the backside. Boy, that looks like a fumble.
Sure does.
Yeah, that really looked like a fumble. You thought it was going to be an incomplete pass, but you look at that, that is a fumble, and that easily could have been a defensive touchdown for this Vigor Wolves team. Because he pulled it back down. I think the official saw his arm going forward, thought he was making a pass, but he pulled it back down.
He did.
That should have been a fumble. Ooh, that's a tough break for Vigor.
Depending on the angle where the official was, you can see he thought he saw what he saw, but from that angle behind it, didn't see everything, right?
Fritz back. That one nearly blocked. Fritz got off Theodore got off a great kick, and Fritz will take it to the 45-yard line. And we'll take a timeout here with 4:53 to go in the first half. It's scoreless between Vigor and Spanish Fort here on our UTV 44 Game of the Week. Quite a defensive battle here tonight on the Hill in Spanish Fort. Scoreless with 4:53 left. Toros and Wolves. And good field position for Vigor. Vigor drove it down to the 1. Goal line stand there by Spanish Fort. And then Vigor, if we watch that replay, really could have had a defensive touchdown very easily there. They force a lot of turnovers, 20 on the year coming into tonight. Play action. Looking over the middle, and that one airmailed as he was trying to get Nesby.
Well, there was some sort of miscommunication. Nesby broke it to the middle of the field, to the heart of the field, and he kind of threw it straight down the hash. He had Nesby one-on-one.
Yep.
So what he wanted, they had Kyle occupying people. He maybe just overthrew it, but nowhere near the intended receiver. And that was a makeable play.
Yep, there's Devin Adams. Let's get a good look at the sophomore quarterback. Like we said, we saw him against St. Paul's, and he came in and really gave him a spark offensively.
He threw it well.
Keontae McCants checks in, receiver to the top of the screen.
I like that idea, though, a running team throwing it on first down. There's an element of surprise there for sure.
Pitch it off to Miller. There's a flag. That's probably going to be a hold, and Miller going to be pushed all the way back. Miller at 58 yards on that last drive that resulted in no points. Vigor going backwards here on this drive. Now for Spanish Fort, let's see, do you take the penalty and back him up, or take the down after the big loss?
Penalty's 10 from the spot.
Yeah, I think you decline it though, and you take the down. Take a listen in.
They do decline.
Brings up 3rd down. It's a loss of 5 on that one, so you bring him to 3rd and 15. And we'll look to the sophomore quarterback, see if he puts it up in the air again. Said he's going to keep it on the option. Pitches it off to Miller to the near side, and Miller is brought down the 48-yard line.
Not expecting that because Adams is not the option quarterback.
Yep, Shane English came up and read that play very well.
Nice play by English. So they don't surprise Spanish Fort. And that's one thing watching this Spanish Fort defense. You can see they are ready to play. They are in position and they tackle.
Yep. Very fundamentally sound team, and Deion Johnson will go back to about the 10 to receive this Marlon Moore punt. 10 men up on the line of scrimmage for Spanish Fort. Nearly blocked, but to put the pressure on, and this one is going to bounce out of bounds. Wow, stays in, takes a great Vigor hop all the way down to the 6-yard line. I want to tell you about who it's our presenting sponsor of high school football every Friday night, and our replay on Saturdays here on UTV 44 as well. Subway, play fresh, eat hard, and thank all of the Subway
Play fresh,
restaurants.
eat hard.
Play hard, eat fresh. That's why they put it back up. So I want to thank all of the Subway restaurants in our viewing area, although they're probably,
Right now they're considering
shaking their head.
giving a call to you.
Yeah.
You'll have a chance to talk to them one-on-one on Monday, I'm sure.
3:47.
You may have Jared call you.
Not our Jared.
No.
Their Jared.
They're Jared.
Poe on the keeper. Will be wrapped up.
I don't know what the answer is, Jim. You have any idea? What do you do against this defense? You're a team that spreads and usually throws out of the spread. Quick decisions by the quarterback. You better be quick with everything you do.
Yeah, and it's like you just have to be so patient to not try to force something, because we said the way they take the ball away, we saw it on that last drive.
Yeah, we did. You got to get Johnson the ball here.
Yeah, he's yet to have a touch offensively, and you see the play clock all the way down inside 10. Poe gives it off Otis Smith, and he is just run over, and again it's Christopher Taylor, the outside linebacker.
Boy, he's something. That Taylor is something else, man. He is a hitter and a football player, and case dismissed. When you get in a little too close to him, it's over.
So third, we'll call it 3rd and 8 here. The Spanish Fort. 3 receivers to the bottom of the screen.
7-11.
You can hear Mark Freeman. And they'll take a timeout here with just 2:30 left.
Check.
Probably the right move. You're not sure your own 5-yard line.
Yeah, against this defense, suddenly a mistake is an easy 6 points.
So you look at that, though. You watch that before, and this is a big difference philosophically what Spanish Fort is doing tonight. Usually they like tempo, run you into the ground.
Yep.
Line up, go again. Against Vigor, they're doing exactly the opposite. They're letting the clock roll down. They're shortening the game, the number of plays in the game. They're playing smart.
Yeah, want to thank Encore Rehabilitation, a part of our high school football each week here on UTV 44. Thanks to Paige Plash and all the fine folks at Encore. Also, Greer's Market since 1916. Spring Hill Toyota bringing our scoring drive. Haven't had any yet. Davison Fuels and Oil. All proud to be a part of high school football on UTV 44. Gary Stevenson, as we said, 9th year. Of course, had that great run in 2008 when they went 15-0.
That was a team with great offense. And this Vigor team trying to get to the title game with defense.
And Poe goes on the hard count. We'll see if he drew Vigor off or if there was movement up front, because it'll turn a 3rd and 8 into a 3rd and 3, and it looks like that's what it's going to do.
Defense.
So 5, boy, that's much more manageable there.
It is.
Poe, the junior quarterback, comes out of the timeout, goes on the hard count.
There's a lot of things a quarterback can do to win or lose a game. And not all of it is that obvious.
Matthew Harris in the slot. Poe steps up, fires over the middle. He's able to get that one to Harris, who can't hold on to it. Boy, they had it there. Would have been a first down out across the 30. And now a flag comes in at the end, and that might be 15. And Harris appears to be hurt. And then 15 comes in, looks like a dead ball situation. Let's watch the replay here. Ball a little behind. Marlon Moore with a big hit.
Wow. What a
big
hit.
Clean hit, yeah.
There wasn't anything in the play.
The ball, Harris couldn't hold on to it. It looks like he...
I guess it was just a celebration.
Right.
They want to call the flag on that.
It's a great play by Moore.
Let's talk about Moore ending up in the Southeastern Conference as a defensive back.
Kerry Stevens, the Vigor coach, out checking on Matthew Harris. Harris had the ball, but he didn't have possession. He was kind of holding it up against his shoulder pad. And we'll take a look at it one more time here.
Harris is 5'9", 165, and bang. It's 165 laid out. He's up now. But boy, that's the kind of hits that we knew were going to happen tonight.
Oh, yeah. And good to see Harris jogging off. Looks like he's going to be okay.
Tough guys. Tough kids.
Would have been a punting situation, but the 15-yarder afterwards gives Spanish Fort a first down.
Yeah, just a killer. They got 2 minutes and change to play with. They're all spread out here. Let's see what Poe does. Motion, I believe.
Yep.
Yeah, this Vigor defense should be off the field again.
Yep, this one's going to be against Spanish Fort. That'll be the first penalty whistled against the Toros tonight. Pat Greenwood.
Well, and what that call was the center basically moved the ball and just jerked it just a little bit, and that's what Vigor was complaining about a couple of plays ago when there was the offside penalty. They say he's flinching the ball a little bit. Referees caught it that time.
First and 15 back. The 21 now. Poe zips it to the near side. That one nearly intercepted, and it is. Titus Whitsitt just took it away, and he's got the interception. The 21st time this year that Vigor has come up with a turnover.
You know, the term honey badger applies here. I'm sorry, but it does. Because he just took what he took. I know that's not that original. First time we've used it. He just takes what he wants. Matter of fact.
Whitsitt with his second interception on the year. And it was Devontae Patrick. Whitsitt takes it away.
Sure
He's got the pick. Great play by Whitsitt.
Absolutely.
Vigor will spread things out here.
It's Kyle in the slot. Watch him down deep. Watch him in the middle.
They're looking that way the whole time and fires it. That one incomplete. Boy, Adams was staring over on that side of the field the whole time.
Paul Kyles is 6'4", 245.
Hey, here's our trivia question tonight. These two teams are combined to go 71-0 since 2000, Dan. Vigor's 49-0, Spanish Fort 22-0.
When they do what?
That's the question.
71-0. When they lead with a minute to go.
When they lead at the end of the game. Adams long arms this one to the far side. He's able to get it complete, and that's McCants. And he's going to be a little short of the first down.
Toros is dropping back into his zone to prevent anything, almost like a picket fence. And Adams has got some time, but there's really nobody there. Finally, strong enough arm to get it out there. Yep. And now you've got a chance maybe to run it a couple times, try to get that first down with Miller.
3rd and 3 with exactly 2 minutes to go. Adams out of the gun. Looking quick over the middle. That one nearly intercepted, but instead it's pulled down by the big tight end, Kyles. And that's going to be good for a Toro first down.
Just sneaks it in there.
Moves well for a big guy, Kyles.
Really does. I mean, that's how you get that scholarship to South Alabama. They know right now exactly what they want to do with him. And we've watched that team and how they use the tight end.
Yeah, you brought up the point, and Joey Jones talks about, it's the most important position on offense along with the quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
Adams looking over the middle, able to get that one. Oh, it was just off the hands and incomplete as Rodney Stafford, the sophomore. That looked like that was going to be a Vigor touchdown.
Jonathan Cook comes up and makes a big hit. Stafford with nice size, but Cook with a shot to the back. They had everybody on the other side. They had 3 wide left. He looks back right, and wow, that is a shot.
Just went right through his hands.
We're seeing shots on being delivered by both teams.
Second and goal from the 10 here. Looking again to the right now. He's going to pull it down. Adams lunges forward inside the 5. And third and goal coming here for the Wolves. They've been down here before and they were turned away.
And they don't have to be in any kind of a hurry right now with 1:25 to go and the clock rolling. They're fine. Spanish Fort trying to hang on one more time and get to halftime with this thing scoreless if they can. That'd be a big win for them.
Yep, they'll get the ball to start the second half as well. 3 of 7 on third downs tonight for the Vigor Wolves. Miller in behind Adams. They'll hand it off to Miller up the middle. He's going to bounce to the outside, and he's got the touchdown. D'Angelo Miller with the score. And Vigor on the forward first here with just 54 seconds left to go in the second quarter.
Good block on the edge there, Jim, and so they lose containment. Miller's able to find a lane to the left. Watch here. It's really just pick and choose where you want to go.
Untouched for the score. Marlon Moore ready to come on for the PAT. Moore, who just had the big hit. And this drive set up by the interception by Whitsitt. Moore, a very high kick, but it's good. And Vigor on top 7-0. Just under a minute left to go in quarter number 2 in our UTV 44 Game of the Week. Brought to you by Subway. D'Angelo Miller with a touchdown for Vigor. And Vigor. Wolfpack traveled well in numbers over to Spanish Fort here tonight. You see the Wolf there?
Yeah.
Mark Freeman saw his team turn the ball over and pay the price.
That's a blanket. It's kind of scary looking, but it's no scarier than what you see on the field, especially from this Vigor defense. And the offense takes advantage of the interception. It's able to hammer it in, and huge 7 points in a game like this.
Yeah, and they've had the field position tilted as well, so you get the interception. Not only do you get it, but you get it way down deep.
Deion Johnson back deep. Now here's a guy that they would like to get the ball in his hands. They haven't succeeded offensively, but maybe he'll get that shot now.
Titus Whitsitt, who had the interception, will kick off. Onside kick, or he just mishit it, one of the two. And recovered there. Ronald Smith may have been the one who recovered. Now it's going to be Andrew Daigle who recovered for Spanish Fort. 6 plays, 22 yards, a minute 20, and Miller with a 4-yard touchdown run. Do you think that was an onside kick attempt, or he just mishit it? I think he just mishit it.
Well, he mishit it. He mishit it pretty good, but yeah, that's what it appeared to me. Now, Spanish Fort's got pretty good field position. There's less than a minute to go in the half. Normally that's great news, I guess, especially for a team that can throw it around. But against this defense, let's see if they can mount anything.
Spanish Fort with 2 timeouts. Poe gives it off Autry, and Autry is wrapped up. And a flag on the far side. That's going to be against Spanish Fort. And you saw there, might have saw at the end of that play, Jamichael Winston trying to rip that ball out of Autry's hands.
Ives and Winston down there with the stop.
Illegal procedure, offense.
Autry was the ball carrier when things went haywire against Gulf Shores, was it not?
Yes, you're right.
He was kind of violently tackled at around midfield. Face mask penalty. Yep. Helmet ripped off, and after that it was a saloon in the Old West.
1st and 15.
8-20. Go hard, man.
Poe looks to the near side. There's Johnson, his first touch. Johnson at the 40, stays on his feet. And he's going to be stopped at the 41-yard line. And wow, I don't know why they didn't mark him out of bounds. So now Spanish Fort going to have to take a timeout. Watch here.
Whistle happened to blow early, as in,
forward motion.
Right.
But boy, wow, that's a bad call.
Poe's got a little zip on it too.
Hey, you can follow us on Facebook. Search UTV 44 High School Game of the Week. Find us on Facebook. Talk about the game there.
You know, if he gets time and they get a shot, he can make something happen. We're talking about Poe, but the problem is with this team, you almost have to throw it short because of the impending pressure that's going to be in your face in no time. So, you know, he's made some decent throws over the middle, but to catch and run, yeah, you know, it's all pretty dicey against this bunch.
You were talking about the tempo that Spanish Fort likes to use so often, and they run a lot of plays. Well, tonight, Vigor, 2-1 in plays. 31 plays for Vigor offensively, just 16 for Spanish Fort.
Vigor's been able to at least establish something on the ground, and Spanish Fort's still struggling to get anything going. And
part of that by design, Spanish Fort letting the play clock roll down.
Yeah,
but it's so different from what they're used to.
Right. That may play into some things, too.
Poe steps up, and he's going to be buried. Jamichael Winston there with a sack, and he stepped up right into that pressure. And I think Vigor, with a big sack there, will have Spanish Fort just let the clock run out and say, I think we're going to start this one fresh.
You know, it's just a mismatch. One-on-one blocking this guy in high school, that's not a good proposition. Depending on who you talk to, he's up to about 240 to 255 pounds. 6'5" and all football player.
That's his 6th sack of the season.
And they've all looked something like that.
He doesn't get any cheap ones. You could be sure of that. And he will be going to Arkansas. Made that commitment earlier this week. A lot of upside. A lot of coaches look at him and say, wow, he has got a lot of upside. And you can see with that frame, 6'4.5", almost 6'5".
Yeah. Yeah, there's just so much to like about that. Oh, there's so much to like about the grill right now, too.
Yeah, that's one of the traditions here at Spanish Fort. Big Ed's Grill going down there in the south end zone. You can see it and smell. We don't live far from here. My wife sent me a text before the game. Could hear the Vigor band, could hear the drum line going while she was in the sitting on the patio.
It was a posh neighborhood right off of this field, and that's where you guys live.
Let's go down to Pat Greenwood with Kerry Stevenson.
All right, thanks a lot, guys. You know, we didn't figure defense would be a problem. It's been what we expected tonight. Talk about your defense.
I think we played lights out. I mean, gave them a couple plays, made us a couple of stupid plays, but we rebound from it. Those guys we got on the outside, they can rush the quarterback, and if they're gonna throw the ball, I like that. They give us a chance to get back out there.
Yeah, and offensively, that's kind of softened them up a little bit. Talk about that last drive. It really started by that interception.
It did. I mean, defense made a play, and we were able to take advantage of it. And we felt like we can go spread and make a couple of throw the ball underneath it, and we did, and got down the field and got in the zone.
All right, good stuff. We appreciate it, Coach. Good luck in the second half. And tell you what, we didn't figure defense would be a problem. It hadn't been, guys.
Yeah, just seven points here in the first half. And let's tell you about our player of the game from last week. It was Chase Domino. Boy, did he play well for Fairhope and that win over Foley, Dan.
He was great on the ground, 120 yards running, over 200 yards throwing the football. And here you see a little of each. And Domino, competitive athlete at quarterback. Don't we love seeing that?
Yeah. You love when when your quarterback is a tough kid who's a gamer and just really a ton of football sense as well.
His dad's on that staff at Fairhope, so you got the son of a coach, and he's a son of a gun. He's a good player.
Log on to UTV44.com at the end of tonight's game. We'll give you 3 players to choose from as to who is our player of the game, or who's going to be our nominees tonight. We'll tell you about that later on. We'll take a timeout. When we come back, the Vigor Band will be on the field in our M&S Music halftime show. It comes up after this. The Wolves on top, 7-0. See our halftime score there. Vigor on top, 7-0. It's time for our M&S Music halftime show. And let's go down to the field. Enjoy the Vigor Band. Continuing on with our M&S Music halftime show and our Game of the Week presented by Subway. Let's go down and enjoy the Spanish Fort Toros marching band.
reliable 24/7 service. Give the local office a call at 638
There you see the score at the half. The Vigor Wolves on top of Spanish Fort 7-0. We thought the defenses would shine, and this one they certainly have thus far. That Vigor defense has been, they were impressive when we saw them play St. Paul's, Dan, and they allowed only 10 points and lost that game, but even more impressive so far here tonight.
Well, they are, and you can see a passing offense in Spanish Fort that has got no real clue exactly how to solve this defense. They come so furiously off the edge and even up the middle in rushing Joel Poe, the quarterback. You got to make quick decisions, or you might just want to turn around and hand it off. The surprising thing is they haven't been able to get the ball in the hands of Johnson. That's what they wanted to do. Now, one big stand they had right here for Spanish Fort prevented Vigor's first 7.
Yeah, that was the big goal line stand here. Then we saw a big hit coming across the middle, and that was Marlon Moore with the big hit on Harris. And this is the last sack that ended the half, and it's Winston coming up. Post steps up in the pocket here and then is just mauled by Winston. And I think one thing Vigor has also done, Dan, not just with their athletic prowess that they have, but they've really just changed the way Spanish Fort plays the game. They're not able to play their style of football.
No, their style is to hurry, keep you on your, on your back, the back of your feet, and take it to you. Look what they've done here. Total yards for Spanish Fort, 38. Rushing yards, -2. They just really can't win the line of scrimmage, and they've almost conceded it.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, they're trying to figure out how to go about it, but welcome to the world of playing Vigor in 2011. This is what everybody's had to deal with.
And with that said, Spanish Fort's defense has played well.
They played very well.
The only score came off a short field, off a turnover, an interception, and Vigor was able to punch it in and take the lead by a score of 7-0. That's where we're at, and it's just been a battle of two great defenses, and that's what we've seen here tonight. Now, Spanish Fort will get it to start the second half, and you like to, if you're Mark Freeman, I'm sure there's going to be some adjustments that are going to be made to try to get the ball moving a little bit. And let's go down to Pat Greenwood and find out what he found out at halftime.
Yeah, Coach Freeman said, he said the first half went actually about how they thought it would, but the problem is a couple of miscues here. The interception obviously was big. They start one drive at the 1, another drive at the 5-yard line. Field position has to flip, but he says if they take care of the football, keep playing great defense, something's going to happen offensively. So he wasn't too upset about the first half. He said, we're right in there. One play here or there, that makes a difference. They made the play in the first half, and he said that's why they have the 7-0 lead.
Yeah, it's a one-score game. That's where we're at right now.
I think that Vigor is the team. Spanish Fort, I think, is the team that can least afford getting behind in this game.
No doubt about it.
And they have, and that's just a fact. Now, not to say they can't make a play and make something happen and make something interesting and tie the game. But Vigor hasn't shown any evidence this year of allowing too many teams to do too much against them. And again, our opportunity to see Vigor was against a very good offensive team in St. Paul's, and they virtually shut them down. It was the last-minute field goal that was able to pull it out for St. Paul. So you just have to scratch and claw and try not to turn it over. And that turnover turned out to be a huge one in the first half.
Yeah, we talked about the two losses that Vigor has this year, the 14-13 loss to a 6A Davidson team in Game 1, and then the game 2 weeks ago we did here on UTV 44 where they lost by a score of 10-8 to St. Paul's. St. Paul's beat this Spanish Fort team by a score of 30-0.
But there was suspensions, of course. You had 10 prominent players that were not on the field that night, so you can just about take that one and toss it out. In fact, that was Spanish Fort's last loss of the year.
They've won 4 in a row since then. And again, these teams have met 7 times, and Vigor has won 5 of the 7, but Spanish Fort has won 2 of the last 3. Last year, Vigor won. There you get a good look at Mark Freeman. When does his voice come back? Do you think it's around June?
You know what? I've never heard Mark when he doesn't sound like he's hoarse. I talked to him before the season started, a couple of weeks before the season kicked off. He was hoarse then. Of course, coaching the kids up in August. And ever since then, maybe that's just his voice. Maybe when he was in the 2nd grade, he said, 2 + 2 is 4. I don't know.
Now we'll see a change on the kicking side is James Burgess, who looks nothing like Titus Whitsitt, who kicked the last one. Burgess, prototypical kicker at 5'10", 275, sends it back
Show me that speed. Let's go,
Deanne
DJ.
Johnson.
Let's go, DJ.
Johnson up the far side with a lot of speed, and he's got good field position for Spanish Ford as he's going to be knocked out of bounds across the 40-yard line, about the 41, exactly what the Toros needed.
Yeah, much like Michael Huff, when you look fast running against Vigor, you are really fast. And Huff made the one big play, the 80-yard run, and that out of a Wildcat set up against Vigor. That was the only touchdown that St. Paul's was able to score that night. And in the same way, we've been expecting Johnson to get the ball and at least have the opportunity to make a big play, too.
Yeah, had the one catch in the first half, and that
That's
was
right.
it. Of course, they only had 40 yards of offense.
That's right, a quick out. You're right.
Autry and Otis Smith in the backfield. Smith tries to get to the outside, and he will. He's got a little hole, and he's across midfield, close to a first down. It was a good play to explode through that tiny seam there by Otis Smith.
Yeah, it was Filan that he got away from, too. Filan does not contain right here. Watch number 7, the big defensive end that's going. Sorry, that's Winston. Oh, Filan is chasing. Okay, so they block Winston well. Nice job.
And it's good for a first down for the Toros. They had only 3 in the first half.
-2 on the ground, so something positive.
Smith on the left side. Get out to the 45 of Vigor. It's been a while since we've seen Spanish Fort on the Vigor side of the 50.
It's been a long time. First quarter. Smith's had some decent runs.
And he can pop a big one.
He can, and
they'll put him in the slot. We'll see if Spanish Fort changes their tempo a little bit back to more what they're used to doing. Mark Freeman, the head coach, calls in each of the plays.
they're seeing what Vigor does defensively and then calling the play there at the end.
Yeah, good penetration. The ball came out at the very end as well, and the official says he's down. Vigor said we had the football. Coming away from it was Winston. And
Let's see if we can get a look at this again.
it came out late in the play.
All right. Should be coming right your way. Autry.
Oh, that's a fumble.
That's
That's a fumble.
They missed that one.
That's 2 that Vigor could have had tonight. Third down.
Look out.
Blitz coming, and Poe buried. Boy, it didn't look like everybody in Spanish Fort was on the same snap count there.
Well, Filan comes unblocked. So the Alabama commitment, they don't lay a glove on him. And Poe's like, dude, what's up with that?
So the drive that had some promise to it after the first down from Smith gets stalled there.
You just need perfection, Jim, or one big play.
Yep. Sherman Fritz will go back to the 20. Theodore from his own 40 to punt, rugby style. And Fritz will take it at the 20 and falls ahead to the 25-yard line. Don't forget, at the end of tonight's game, you can vote for the player of the game. UTV 44. That brought to you by our friends at Greer's Food Tiger. Last week it was Chase Domino. We have some interesting candidates here tonight.
Yeah.
Winston's played well coming off the edge.
Yeah, I think you got to look to the defense to this point, just about. But
Yep, and Whitsitt with the interception that set up the touchdown.
That was as big a play as we've had.
Yep.
Tonight.
Miller, see his stats in the first half there. Had the touchdown and 69 yards rushing. And he'll get it again. Slinks ahead for a gain of maybe 1.
You know, they haven't just knocked Spanish Fort off the football, that's for sure. Now, he's got some decent numbers right there, but a lot of carries. They just work it. They had a lot of success on the stretch run, but he follows that fullback because that kid can really block. Talking about Barron, number 29, sophomore in high school who built like a sophomore in college.
You're right. McCants, the sophomore, split out to the top of the screen, and the sophomore Adams in under center. Trouble with the snap again. And Adams is going to be wrestled up and brought down back at the 15-yard line. Matt Hall, the sophomore linebacker, able to take advantage of trouble with the snap for the Vigor Wolves.
Matt Hall is such a good athlete that he was in the running for the quarterback position during the summertime. He's a good player.
Good decision there by Adams just to eat that ball as well and not try to force something.
I saw Vigor have trouble in the preseason the snap out of the shotgun, but to have, you know, you can kind of see that a little bit.
Sure.
But just the center to quarterback snap when you're under center, you got to clear that up.
That was the third time tonight they had trouble with the exchange.
You don't usually gain yards on that play.
And it's 3rd and 15. Adams gives it off. Miller back up near the line of scrimmage. But that's going to be it. It's going to bring on a punt situation for the Vigor Wolves. Watch this one. See if this was almost loose going. Yeah, that was not a clean handoff. He kind of had to almost pitch it there to him with his left hand, and he's a right-handed quarterback.
Yeah, he's stretched out to get it to him a couple of times. Even on one of their big runs, he had to do that down by the goal line. Really good hit by McGavin. That's the young guy we had on in pregame.
Yep.
He doesn't look like he's big enough to make impact like that, but we see why he's on the field.
Deion Johnson back for the punt, end over end kick, and he'll just get away from it. And Spanish Fort will have good field position at the 39. And the Toros got to get something going offensively. Give us a chance to tell you about the Spring Hill Toyota Spotlight. You can build your own Toyota at springhilltoyota.com. You can also check out all the great used deals they have there. They've got certified pre-owned cars there and all kinds of great stuff at springhilltoyota.com. Check them out there at Government Boulevard.
You know, this good field position for Spanish Fort. It's like having a beachfront home in Newfoundland. I mean, yeah, you're on the water, but who cares?
It's nice 7 days a year.
Yeah, it looks good on the calendar picture.
Now, Spanish Fort nearly had 12 on the field there. Otis Smith cuts it up the inside, and he's slowed down again.
Yeah, you can put 12 on the field, and I still don't know if you're going to get everybody in white block. Smith just takes his medicine and tries to get a couple of yards, and that's what he does. Trying to stretch it wide against his team is almost impossible.
Yeah, you run to the right, you're going at Winston. You run to the left, you're going at Phylon. Phylon was a guest on the pregame show. Poe with some time, now pulls it down, scrambles, and goes down. As right on top of him there was Winston.
Pretty good contain block on Winston, keeping him back away from the quarterback, but Poe drifts into the direction of Winston.
Yeah, they flipped him that time.
Yeah.
They flipped him around and had Winston.
Call that the topsy-turvy right there.
Yep,
you don't know who's coming from where. What's it matter?
Yeah, playing on right end, and they move Phylon to the left side. And they'll keep him there. And out of the backfield, they'll fire this one off. And that's going to go for a loss. Nothing doing there is Patrick with his first reception of the night.
You talk about speed, but then just break it down and just look at good defense too, Jim. You know, that had nothing really to do with speed. It was just sound defense on the outside.
And that drive goes backwards. And so again, Alexander Theodore on to punt. Sherman Fritz will stand back at the 38. Theodore with a good kick down to the 20, maybe the 21-yard line. That's where they'll mark it down there. And we'll take a timeout. 5:31 to go in quarter number 3. Still 7-0. The Vigor Wolves on top of the Spanish Fort Toros. A good one tonight here on UTV 44. Vigor with the lead. They've got it again. So we'll see the Wolves take back over there. They really haven't been able to do a lot offensively. They had the short field that they took advantage of to get the touchdown in the first half after the Titus Whitsitt interception. But other than that, the Wolves have not moved the ball on the Spanish Fort team either.
And since they're in the Pro I, basically it's been Miller or nothing.
Give
as
it
far
off
as running it, there you get the fullback gets a shot, and he is
to the 27.
He's a strong kid, really a great blocker too. Because look at that center of gravity he's got.
I think if you would have told Mark Freeman that with 5 minutes to go in the third quarter, you'd have held Vigor to just 7, he'd be pretty happy. still, it's but it just feels like more than a one-touchdown game.
Yeah, you've seen games like that, where the one team is just winning the line of scrimmage. Now, the one thing is that Spanish Fort is not just getting whipped defensively on the defensive side.
They pitch this one to Miller, and great play on the far side, able to come up and make the tackle there. Kylan Cotton. Good disciplined football by the Toros.
Yes.
Everybody else sold on the fake.
And again, that is not Adams' strength. Marlon Moore, number 2, who was a starter earlier in the year, he can run that option.
Yep.
And he's a threat. But when Adams runs the option, you pretty much know it's going to the pitch guy.
Yeah, he's not going to pull it down most times. Big third down here. Right up the middle is Miller, and he stopped short of the first down at the 30. Just a yard short. That time, straight at the Toros. And this is going to be about a half a yard short of the first down. Ooh. Would you go for it here, Dan Brennan? I think the way your defense is playing, you punt the ball.
Yeah, I think you punt it.
But
here they come.
Yeah, I think you most definitely.
You don't give Spanish Fort a short field.
Exactly.
Tempt fate like that.
And one thing Spanish Fort has done, they have gotten good pressure on. Some more there, and good field position for the Toros, but it hasn't mattered.
And the kicks haven't been awful, but they haven't been good enough to get to Johnson. And that's been a break for Vigor. They haven't had to defend Johnson returning a punt.
Other sponsors of high school football on UTV 44, M&S Music. We saw their halftime show. Both bands doing a good job here tonight. Navigator Credit Union. Also, Caligaz Printing. And there's the Vigor band. We saw them at halftime. We just mentioned a few moments ago. They bring it like the defense does.
They do, and they're in their unis tonight. Last time out, a little more casual look against when they played at St. Paul's. Warmer weather.
Here's Autry, and Autry's going to get a couple, but then they're going to tack on 10 for holding on this one as well. Pat Greenwood.
Well, if you look at what the Spanish Fort line is doing, they're not doing a bad job. The thing is, Vigor's defensive line is so good with Winston on one side and Filan on the other. You guys have documented that all night. But if you remember against St. Paul's, what St. Paul's was able to do when they scored, they had that quick hit where Huff get through the line as quickly as he could, and he was able to get past that defensive line. And if Spanish Fort can get that quick hit, they've got a shot. But I'll tell you what, the offensive line's doing a good job. Just Vigor's defensive line is that good.
They're going to have to block on the outside, Pat. If they're going to try to do something with Johnson, which I think they've been committed to, that's what they want to do.
Yeah, but defense, trying to get trying to get to the outside too.
Yeah,
that's going to be tough because Vigor's so quick side to side.
I agree, unless you go Wildcat with Johnson at quarterback.
Wow, that was a face mask against Vigor. You thought it was going to be a holding call where the flag came in. Instead, it's a 5-yard walk-off against Vigor, but they'll bring this one right back because
5 yards there
on the left side. And so we'll have 1st and 10 after
all that.
Yeah, as Grant Horst with some movement there because he saw Jamichael Winston. He can't, I believe if
dead ball. Illegal procedure, offense.
Where we were going with that, by the way, yeah.
I would just, if I was an offensive lineman playing against Vigor, I think I might just say, you know what, I'm going to hold on every single play. They can't call everyone. I'm on every
concede
play.
You're overmatched.
Yes.
It's a day in the warehouse, that's for sure.
We'll get it to Patrick trying to come on the end around and nothing doing there. That loses yardage. And the Wolves are trying to strip it loose as Thomas Lewis was in there.
To Pat's point, the only big play of that game that we've seen in 2 games against Vigor, as he watches something going to the edge, not going to work, as Filan just fights off the block, was something where you spread the field out, you have your best athlete taking the snap, in that case it was Huff, and he's able to get some blocks right through the gut and go all the way.
Poe on the far side gets this one complete. There's Johnson, his second catch tonight, and he's knocked out of bounds. I think the other thing about that big play we saw against Spanish Fort is it may just have been something where Vigor's defense didn't recognize the formation, because remember, it was the first time they'd seen it all night, coming out of a timeout against St. Paul's.
St. Paul's, right.
Yeah, and that was the only...
It was a perfectly placed call, too, right?
Right. And you talk to coaches that see this Vigor defense, and they say even if they make a mistake or they get beat, they're so fast and athletic, they can just go chase down their mistake.
Right. Huff's the one guy, and Johnson on this team, the one guy that might be able to outrun him to the pylon. if they do make a mistake. They've got to get the ball in his hands.
Poe fires it to the near side, and that one looked like it was deflected, but it's held on to and complete. And that's a first down for Spanish Fort. Their first completion, successful conversion on third down as Blaine Crane has got the catch. It's a well-thrown ball by Poe. Had a small window.
He looks it in, and then he just closes his eyes and ducks, readying himself for what might happen next. But good throw by Poe.
Out to the 45-yard line. Down to 2 minutes to go in the third. Jim Cox and Dan Brennan. Pat Greenwood on the sidelines. Jared Kihos in the truck. Give this one to Otis Smith. He sheds a tackle there from Filan and gets maybe a yard before Deshaun Davis, the sophomore linebacker, brings him down, their leading tackler on the year.
Look at Davis, too. This is a sophomore. There's Filan. That's a sophomore linebacker right there. More to come with Vigor.
Pat Greenwood.
Been watching Walker Betts, who's the right tackle. He's been going against Filan on the sideline now, but what he's been doing is just trying to take his legs out. He's given up 65 pounds every time the ball snapped, but he's just trying to take his legs out. He's been doing a pretty good job, but Filan is just a load to bring down.
Johnson comes in motion. They give it to him, and he's slowed up at the line of scrimmage, and the loss of 3 on the play. Again, it's Taylor. And you talk so much about the big two ends, and Taylor, I mean, he'd be a superstar on any other defense.
I went to school with Christopher Taylor, and that guy was good at science. Now, this Christopher Taylor right here, they don't remind me of each other. We watched him against St. Paul's. Big plays on the edge, behind the line of scrimmage. Same thing tonight.
Of course, you're not saying anything about this Chris Taylor's science abilities.
Wouldn't know. I know this.
3rd and 9 after the loss. Johnson doesn't get hit from any losses. Poe with time, but good coverage downfield as well. Tries to slip it in. He's able to get that one off and complete, and Otis Smith has got the first down. What a play by Joel Poe.
Yeah, what a play by the offensive line, too.
Where's the flag?
Keeping Filan out.
I guess no flag.
That was the key. They were able to contain the ends on the same play.
Yep.
Neither one got loose.
Poe didn't try to force anything. Finally waited, had a chance. Autry play fake to him, and they come to the near side, and that's complete. Matthew Harris, Pat Greenwood.
Oh, you were mentioning a flag. You know what you're seeing, Jim, is Taylor's shoes. Yep. Taylor's shoes are yellow. I've done it about 3 or 4 times. Like, oh, flag. No, that's the shoes.
They really are. They are bright yellow. Good to see Harris come up with that catch after that big hit he took from Marlon Moore in the first half. And that'll bring quarter number 3 to a close. So we will start quarter number 4, 7-0 in this one. Spanish Fort driving. They've got it at the 42 and a fresh set of downs. Coming up after this. Red to start quarter number 4 on the hill, 2nd and 8. Here for the Toros. Poe over the middle of the field. He's able to get that one off and complete. Another first down for the Toros. Blaine Crane with another catch, and he's been the go-to guy for Joel Poe tonight.
Okay, that's a little football 101. You bring the linebackers up, so you create the little cavity there in the middle, right, with the fake. And that's why he's open, because the linebackers are up pursuing what they thought was a run. Simple enough concept, and of course the quarterback gets it out of his hands quickly, which you need to do against Vigor.
Autry goes in motion. They give it right up the middle. Otis Smith, he is hit and drilled back. Nowhere to go there is Sean Davis, the sophomore, comes up and makes the stop.
5'11", 225, sophomore linebacker. On arguably the best defense in the area.
Yeah, I mean, maybe in the state, only giving up 8 points a game. You give up 8, you don't win a lot of championships doing that.
Yeah.
Oh, pulls it down, and he's hit and dropped by Filan.
And Winston right after that. There's your collapsing bookends.
Joel Poe
is a competitor, and he better be. He's had a pretty good second half.
He has 3rd and 9 coming up. They start to wonder. Spanish Fort moving into 2-down territory themselves. They do have a strong field goal kicker. Motion is Otis Smith. Poe wants to scramble. Pressure there. Able to get that one off. Is all over him again was Jamichael Winston. Poe did a good job to get that one off and save the yardage.
You know, I'd rather see a little play action just to give him a break, you know, freeze somebody for a second.
Pat Greenwood.
But Christopher Taylor with some good defense in the defensive backfield, because what they were trying to do is get Otis Smith on the wheel route down the left sideline. He was open for a split second, but Taylor closed that gap quickly. And it was a good move for Joel Poe not to throw it over here, but great defense by Taylor to make that happen.
Yeah, if there's a gap, Vigor's going to close it. That's what they do all over the field. You better take advantage of your gaps while you got them.
All right, so Alexander Theodore will go attempt a 42-yard field goal. He was nailing him in warm-ups, and this one does not get there. We were watching him kick from that exact spot in warm-ups. That one comes up short, and Vigor comes up with another defensive stand here tonight.
With at least the play action, Jim, not to get too complicated in X's and O's here, but we're just talking about saving your quarterback, saving his spine for another day. With the play action, at least Vigor's got to respect the fact that may have been a run. You can buy a half a second, or something like that. Next time they get it, let's see if we see more play action.
Adams gives it off to Miller right up the middle, and Miller slips down. Boy, he had some yardage to the near side, and just as he went to cut it, his feet just went out from underneath him.
Spanish Fort helps you get to the ground, too. They've got good tacklers all over the field. That time Hall kind of overcommitted to the outside. Miller gets some good blocks from inside the tackles.
Pickup of 9 for Miller. Miller hit, and he's going to be dropped in the backfield this time. That is Chase Holloman in to make the tackle.
Holloman with good penetration. Yeah, this defensive line is not getting kicked around too bad at all. No. They played very well.
They lost 2 on that one, gone from 3rd and 1 now to 3rd and 3. Approaching 9 minutes left in this one. As fast a game as we've done in a long, long time. Adams gives it off to Miller, and he's hit, and he's going to be stopped. Wow, great defense by the Toros, who have played, as Dan was just saying, have played great defensively all night long here. They'll force Vigor to punt again.
Look at the penetration that they get in there, too. And again, you've got guys like Morehouse. He's a defensive end. He just beats a block.
Marlon Moore to punt. Deion Johnson stands at his own 40. Let's see if the Toros can get something going. Special teams, just a high punt, and they won't give Johnson a chance to field it at the 39. Hey, here's our trivia. All right, any guesses here, Dan?
Well, I said if they've got a lead with a minute to go.
It's not.
It's kind of cheating.
It's not.
That's not it.
It's not that. It is, however, when they score 30 or more.
Okay.
Don't get in a lot of shootouts and lose.
So they get 30, it's over.
Yes.
I know if anybody gets 30 tonight, it's over.
And I don't like the chances of that. I don't like the combined score adding up to 30 tonight.
Combined score may not get to 8.
Poe, pressure from Filan, gets away from him and then scrambles up. It'll still be a loss on the play.
But once Vigor knows that you're throwing the football, Jim, right. I didn't have to say any more. You just did.
Vigor. Just another little odd stat we can throw out in a second is they give it up the inside, and Otis Smith is buried there all the way back at the 35. This game is 7-0 Vigor right now with 7.5 to go. Since 2000, Vigor has not won a game if they've scored less than 10 points. They are 0-7.
That's interesting.
If they have not scored more than 10.
That play, by the way, made by Hives. We don't talk about him as much. He's the big guy right in the middle of those two talented defensive ends in this 3-4.
Poe on the inside handoff and just trying to get up toward the original line of scrimmage was Otis Smith, and there was nothing there.
Here's a team that spreads the ball, throws the ball. They were 3rd and 15 or so, and it's a draw just to keep your quarterback alive for another play.
Another 3 and out.
And it's late in the game where you got to get something, and it just about conceded. We can't block you enough to look downfield. I don't think you've seen a screen yet.
Theodore Alexander had to hurry that one off. And a great bounce for the Toros.
Seen a lot of high punts that have had fortunate bounces.
And we'll take a timeout here with 6:23 left. 7-0, Vigor on top. Coming down the stretch of this one on our UTV 44 Game of the Week. Brought to you by Subway. .623 left. Pat Greenwood on the sidelines, Jim Cox, Dan Brennan in the booth, Jared Kihas in the truck. Big Lockett out of town. He'll be back with us next Friday night. Missile number 99 in the booth.
I sure do myself. We got a little more space. That's just a fact.
Adams wants to throw it. Gets it to Miller out of the backfield. Miller cutting it up the far sideline. Miller's got a first down. Still on his feet. Ridden down at the 48-yard line.
I was just talking about the fact, right, about the lack of screens from either team. Well, neither team's moving it real well, and here comes one.
27-yard pickup. And I like the play call there because you think, obviously, Vigor just wants to run the ball, keep the clock moving. Boom, you come out, toss it to Miller, pick up 27.
Yeah.
And you got a first down.
Vigor's got some girth on that line. They're starting to lean on Spanish Fort a little bit. Less than 6 to go.
Fires it to the far side, incomplete. That'll stop the clock.
Kind of against the grain of what you're thinking, throwing the ball here with less than 6 minutes to go. Maybe you have an opportunity to grind them into the ground and end the game that way.
Boy, your defense has played so well. And we can't Spanish Fort's defense has played so well against Vigor,
no
too.
Doubt. There's no doubt about it.
You know, it was a very short field, it was a 22-yard drive that got the touchdown. And Spanish Fort had that goal line stand as well. First down this half for Vigor to start this drive, and Adams going to be hit at the line of scrimmage, and you see the Toros trying to swat that ball free. Instead, it'll bring up 3rd and long.
One of the reasons we're a little surprised at the call plays that are being called right now, too, is maybe the only thing that really gets Spanish Fort back in it is a mistake.
Yep. Yeah, I think you're right.
And you got a quarterback running around with the ball in his hand, not like Miller would be. And you're just kind of tempting disaster a little bit. So Vigor might want to just run it here, and if they don't get it, punt and make Spanish Fort go the whole way.
Yep. 4 of 11 on 3rd downs for Vigor tonight. High snap. Evans throws it out to Miller out of the backfield. He's going to be hit for a loss. And it'll bring up the punt team. Inside 5 minutes to go. Boy, now do you have a special play you try to bring out on special teams? I mean, do you something to get a spark somewhere offensively?
Yeah, well, I think if you have a punt block, you probably do it here, because one way or the other, you're going to have terrible field position, or you may potentially have to go a large portion of the field if you're Spanish Fort and you're an offense that hasn't shown the ability to string first downs together.
Line drive kick away from Johnson at the 23.
We've seen this offense when it looks very efficient, and that was in the first game of the season.
Chance to tell you about our Scholastic Athlete of the Week. Matthew Harris, we saw him take that big hit, then come back and make the catch. 3.75 GPA. Plays football and baseball. for the Fellowship of Christian Athletes, National Honor Society, and is going to Alabama to study law. So congratulations to Matthew Harris, our friends at Callagaz, new Scholastic Athlete of the Week. Poe pulls it down, looking, and boy, it just closes on him.
Yeah.
And boy, there comes Taylor again to lay the big hit on Poe.
You leave the pocket, this play, it's just like running in, Niagara Falls in your tuxedo. It doesn't make any sense. Here it comes. And I'll tell you one thing, that kid right there, Taylor, he can smell it, It's almost
He's as good a linebackers we've seen all year.
He's been as productive as any kid we've seen.
Poe, ball fake, rolls out to his right, fires it. He's able to get it complete.
Nice job.
That'll be good for a first down. Is able to hit Blaine Crane again on that one.
Here's what could happen. And I would say this would be, look at Filan just keeps coming. Their best hope may be a broken play.
Yep.
It may be somewhere where Poe gets chased from the pocket. He's got to come up with something. And somebody goes deep. I mean, really, other than that, what have you seen conventionally that's going to pull it out?
They've got to go 65 yards, and now they got to go 66. Just nothing doing against this spectacular defense. Justin Thornton, the sophomore, 6'4", 180-pound sophomore, came in to make the hit there.
Yeah, he was in there with Winston.
2nd and 10.
I couldn't make a tackle if Winston was helping me.
Well,
I could, Jim. I could.
Motion goes Harris. Poe looks, now fires over the middle, over everybody. That one's picked off. Marlon Moore with the interception. 2nd turnover tonight, and Moore will be brought down at the 40. That one was just overthrown by Poe, and Marlon Moore back there to come up with the INT, his 3rd of the year.
Spanish Fort is simply, the next in line that can say, we don't know what to do. We're not sure how you attack this defense. They're well coached, and they are fast, and they are athletic, and they are big, and they are very hard to muster any sort of offense against.
Just under 3 minutes left as Poe picked off for the 2nd time tonight, but trying to make something happen.
Right, exactly. Just trying to make a play.
Miller tripped up in the backfield, falls ahead.
He's done a lot of things good tonight.
And he's been taking a pounding, too.
Yes, he has.
Spanish Fort has their full complement of timeouts. And Vigor will be able to wind this one down. It'll be under 2:15 before they snap it, probably. No gain on that play, so we'll call it 2nd and 10. Pitch it out. Miller going to be hit in the backfield and drop for a loss again. And we'll see if Spanish Fort starts to use their timeouts. They do here. And they take their first timeout.
It's funny, they could see if you were a Vigor DB and your complaint would be, we would get a lot more interceptions if we didn't have so many of those darn sacks.
Yeah.
Because if you pressure the quarterback and don't quite get to him, that's when you can get those picks. They generally get you to the ground. Really impressed again with that young linebacker, Christopher Taylor. 6', 190 senior, but man, he is solid.
Pat Greenwood.
And what do you do if you're a defensive coordinator for either of these teams? I mean, you got to be awfully happy with what you see. Spanish Fort's given up one play, and it was because of the interception. And look, defensively, both of these teams are so good. And we talked about it at the beginning of the game. It was a matter of which offense can make a play. And right now, it's Vigor, but wow, I've just been bowled over with both defenses.
You're right. Great effort and know-how by Spanish Fort, just not quite enough.
3rd and 11 here. Adams gives it off to Miller. Miller cuts it inside, so he'll keep the clock running. And it'll bring up 4th down, and Spanish Fort will take the timeout. So they'll have 1 left, 2 minutes to go.
Yeah, one more trip into the fun house. I mean, I know you're Spanish Fort. You're thinking, hey, we got a shot now. And you do. But something's got to go incredibly wrong for Vigor.
You know, one thing is you will see Spanish Fort come out in a hurry-up set, which they haven't done tonight.
Right.
They haven't got into their typical rhythm that you see so quickly.
Yeah.
That'll be the only thing that'll change.
Right. And other than that, what play can you call from wherever they end up with the football here that's going to threaten this defense?
4th and 7 coming up. Expect Vigor to punt them back and make Spanish Fort.
You know, and Johnson just has not got the touches tonight for the guy that we really expected to be the focal point of the offense.
And they haven't gotten any points either.
Haven't got any points. Johnson hasn't touched the ball.
I mean, you said it at the beginning of the show. I mean, that was what you need. You know, you need him. Now, it looks like Vigor is going to go for it here. They will go for it on 4th and 7. Now they'll send the punt team out. I was scratching my head on that one.
They're just showing off a little bit.
Trying to see if they can maybe pick up a 5-yard penalty. And now they're going to get one on themselves, that's okay. It's not going to really affect anything on the punt. So they'll just back up the line of scrimmage back to the 41.
Love doing the games here at the Hill. The one thing that is a little difficult is from our vantage point in the press box, a little tough to make out the numbers. So sometimes I'm not as good at, giving credit to the individual player in the black within the red. I think you see it clear on the TV screen than we see it from our vantage point.
Low snap, pressure coming. Moore able to get it off. Good kick again away from Johnson. Punted that one right to Pat Greenwood. Pat can give you a spark on special teams.
I still got some moves, but I tell you, it was one of those. It's like a seeing eye single. I moved to the right, it kept coming at me. I moved to the left, started coming at me that way. So, you know what? I said, let me just run. So I ran and got out of the way.
So here you go. Here's your ball game with 1:50 left. The Toros have not been able to do anything so far offensively.
And Mark Freeman was the guy that told us that Johnson would be a big point of interest for them to try and get the ball to.
102 yards of total offense for Spanish Fort tonight. Poe to the far side. They get it to Johnson, and Johnson will get pushed out of bounds. And you would think that, this Vigor defense, sometimes you see teams that'll play back a little more of that prevent. I mean, we'll be in the typical aggressive Vigor Wolves defense.
Yeah, they've got their one deep safety right now, and that is the guy that made the pick just moments ago. That's Marlon Moore, who started the year. It's, in fact, the St. Paul's game at quarterback, too. Single safety deep.
Poe able to get away from Philon, gets it off on the far side, and that's Patrick over there on the believe on from the Vigor bench.
Now, that one's not going to work.
Yep, it was Johnson.
Winston's out there in space. You see how big Winston is, number 8. Again, he's the guy that's committed to go to Arkansas.
So now we're down to 1:15 here. 3rd and a long one. They give it off up the middle, and Otis Smith gets a first down, so that'll stop the clock while they move the chains. 1:10, you got to start taking some shots downfield, and you need time to do that. And that's one thing you don't get against this Vigor defense. It's the time to throw the ball deep down the field.
You don't, and that's why, something with a little exotic twist to it, a screen or something like that. 3 wide down this way.
5 receivers set. Quick out to the far side. Able to get it off complete. Johnson will be forced. Now we'll say he stays inbounds. Spanish Fort going to have to hurry.
You're right, Jim. They really haven't tried to stretch the field for fear that they don't have the time to get it off. I guess that's the only thing I can think of.
That is the last timeout taken by the Toros.
And again, you're not setting up for a potential field goal here. You're down 7. So you've got to get to the end zone.
Second and about 6 coming up. It's just a suffocating defense, but boy, you really do. The
defense.
Just the one play in the game was the interception that gave the short field to Vigor. That's when they scored, because otherwise we'd be talking about Spanish Sports defense getting overlooked a little bit.
Yeah.
But this Vigor defense, they are just jaw-dropping impressive when you watch them.
Talk to me about that. Yeah, look, guys, the thing is, too, they don't miss tackles. That's the key. How many times have you seen a Spanish Fort guy in the open field? How many times have you seen a Vigor guy miss him? I don't think it's happened tonight. They're very disciplined. You get a great rush, obviously, from the defensive line. And the linebackers, defensive backs, they do a great job in the open field.
So 2nd and 8 after the timeout. Smith in the backfield, 3 receivers to the bottom of the screen. Poe steps up. There's a flag. That's going to be a holding call. This play also going to take up a bunch of time, and Poe runs out of bounds. But
all coming back.
Yep.
And that was Winston, who was coming off the left side and just trying to, a high school tackle blocking a college defensive end. That's basically what we're talking about here.
Yep.
That's just not going to work.
Yeah, Walker Betts.
Betts giving all the effort he's
trying to also physically protect his quarterback as well from.
Yeah, physically protect his own future.
So it's going to back him up. And also down to 42 seconds. Again, we said Spanish Fort out of timeouts.
And to your point, they're trying to go downfield, and it was disrupted by Winston, who comes off the edge. These guys know what's coming now.
Oh, they're liking this.
Yeah, sure they are.
Ashley Johnson, the defensive coordinator for Vigor, does such a great job on that side of the ball for this Wolf team.
Got a lot to work with.
Yep. Poe pulls it down, and he gets tripped up back at the 21-yard line, and now Spanish Fort have to hurry to get one off here. 3rd and forever, and now they'll spike it. And so it's going to bring up 4th down at about 24. How about this? If Spanish Fort, they started keeping track of these stats, 19-0 when they give up 10 or less.
Yeah.
And Vigor, as we said, 0-11 when scoring 10 or less.
Well, that's all about to come to an end, both of those. But I don't know that anybody here tonight, as a lot of people make their way to the exits, anybody's really surprised by exactly what we saw.
Poe tonight, 5 hurries, sacked 4 times, intercepted a couple times, fires this one up, and he's got to complete at the 45-yard line. Hold on just a second here. Still got a little life left with 16 seconds.
He's such a tough kid, Poe. He gets clobbered on this play.
Shane English, they bring him over from the defensive side and put him in wide receiver. 16 seconds left. They complete 4th and 24 up to the 45, and they just got the fastest players out there now, and they'll spike it. Yeah, the number of downs they have left is not nearly as important as the 14 seconds.
Well, protection collapsing. He gets drilled again, and the ball just floats in the air, but just a great athletic play by English. Like you said, they've just gone ahead and flooded the field with their best athletes. And
that was Cook who made the catch.
Cook, rather.
They brought him over defensively, and now Vigor takes a timeout. It's a good call by Vigor. Clock stop doesn't matter. They're just trying to make sure, hey, we get this, have everything in control. Pat?
Yeah, and that's exactly what they're doing. The defensive coaches telling the secondary, back up, don't let anything behind you. And it was actually not a bad play defensively for Vigor. The kid just mistimed his jump. He timed his jump correctly. He's able to knock it away, but what an athletic catch.
And to the parents of Joel Poe, go ahead and start running that warm bath now.
This is far from over, man. It's going to be a good finish here.
Or maybe a cold bath with some ice might be more appropriate. Now, do you
and a fistful of Advils.
Do you maybe see the hook and lateral here? Do you maybe see a double pass? Do you see something?
Well, theoretically, Vigor should be so deep, and they are, that any trickery really
Brandon McCants.
Shouldn't be able to pay any dividends.
A DB. Now they can get the first down again, which will stop the clock if they can do that. Poe steps up in the pocket, fires it off down to the near corner, looking again, and it's incomplete. Whew. Triple coverage down there, and again they tried to get it to Cook. And 6 seconds left. That was another great play by Poe to avoid the rush and give him a chance.
The bookends were after him again. He steps up in the pocket. Yeah, I like Poe. Ooh, almost picked off. Yeah. Almost ball game right there.
Might have had a receiver just underneath Cook there wide open because everybody was back with Cook.
Yeah, kind of a picket fence back there.
McCants and Otis Smith to the right. 3 receivers to the bottom of the screen. Poe fires it off and complete, but they're going to run out of time. That's the ball game. They throw it underneath, and they don't get a chance to throw another one.
That might have been the hook and ladder you were thinking about.
And that'll do it. 7-0, the final score. What a game here tonight. Very spectacular defensive performances on both sides of the football.
Yeah, I agree with you. Spanish Fort played as hard as they can defensively, and Vigor simply as advertised. We said a lot of nice things about him in the pregame.
Yep.
A lot of nice things about him right before kickoff. And you watch him play. That defense, it's all legit, not hype.
Yeah, they improved their average of giving up a stingy 8 per game with a shutout.
Against a team that gets 27 a game, and it would be more than that had they not had those 2 games where they had a lot of guys suspended that couldn't play that brought their average down. So this is basically a 35-point-a-game offense in Spanish Fort that got nothing tonight.
4th shutout of the year for Vigor. They've shut out Williamson, they've shut out Citronelle, Gulf Shores, and now they've shut out Spanish Fort as well. Pat Greenwood.
All right, thanks, guys. Coach, I'm going to tell you before the game that you score 7 points and you win the ball game. Would you believe me?
We got a hell of a defense. Heck of a defense. I mean, I think that if we can score a touchdown, we should score. We're 3 plays this season from being undefeated. We gave up 1 big play against St. Paul, 2 against Davidson. So, yeah, I don't believe that.
And to be able to win a game like that, when you mentioned the Davidson game, the St. Paul's game, to be able to win one of these close games like this, I mean, that's got to do wonders for these kids.
It does, man. And we got a running football team, and, you know, people going to stack the box on us, and that's what they did. And, I mean, we just try to be patient, try to make a couple of plays, give our defense a little break, and we feel like they can bring it home for us, and they did again tonight.
And I know some opposing teams want to borrow some of your defensive linemen. You going to loan them out?
No.
Those guys are good, aren't they?
They're pretty good, and we try to keep them fresh so they can make plays in this part of the ball game, and they did. I mean, they had their quarterback running for his life tonight.
Congratulations, Coach.
Thanks, man.
I appreciate it. So, look, we promised the defensive game at the start of it, and we got it. 7-0 Vigor. What a ball game.
Yeah, what a game for Vigor. Boy, how about Week 10? Little blunt Vigor matchup. Just a hint. Yeah. You might see that one here.
Right.
The UTV 44.
Maybe. As we stare into the crystal ball at the obvious. And Winston, one of those 2 defensive ends we've been talking about all night. Just look at the size of him. The pressure he and Filan brought from the edge. Taylor, of course, playing great, and that defensive backfield is outstanding too. So they just don't have any holes on defense, and they make you pay if you go left, right, or center.
Yeah, and Kerry Stevenson said it there. He said, we plan on being undefeated this year. He said, we gave up 2 big plays to Davidson and 1 to St. Paul's, and that's the difference of us.
Yep.
And you can see why, because they suffocate you, and then pretty soon you're so worn down emotionally as well. You're like, dang, here they come again.
Yeah, Mark Freeman trying to, talk to the young guys and say, hey, look, we're going to be in the playoffs. We just played maybe the best team we're going to play this year. And so hold your head up. We got to keep on going. And nobody getting lifted off the field in an ambulance on a night like that. That's a good blessing.
Take a look at our player of the game selections. Titus Whitsitt, D'Angelo Miller, or Jamichael Winston. You can select one of those players to be your player of the game here on UTV 44. Log on to UTV44.com.
Sorry, Jim Miller was the one guy offensively that at least was able to, move the chains for Vigor.
Yeah, rushed for 84 yards against this defense here tonight. So
most of those in the first half.
Yeah, he did a good job to get the offense moving when they needed to and had the touchdown for the Vigor Wolves. 7-0 is your final here. And we should tell you that next week on UTV 44, we will have McGill and Daphne. Last score we had, McGill was leading Robertsdale. And that will, if that score holds, we'll have a couple of 8-0 teams matching up in Week 9 here in UTV 44.
One of the biggest games in Mobile County that we've seen in a long time at the Lip. 2 undefeated teams this late in the season.
Final score 7-0. Vigor gets the win. So for Pat Greenwood on the sidelines, Jared Kihas in our truck, Kyle McClellan doing our stats up in the booth. A great job for us here this evening. Dan Brennan, I'm Jim Cox. Where Vigor gets the win. They're now 6-2 with a victory over Spanish Fort here tonight in the Hill.